Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What's going on? Good afternoon and welcome to the 284th episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive for the GHSA State Title. It is Wednesday, and so we're going to break down the latest composite rankings, and then I have a special guest coming on. It's going to be Stockbridge head coach Thomas Clark. I believe this is his 16th overall season at the school. I think he's also an alum. And then he's taken over the head coaching job in recent seasons. Last year was super successful. They were 10-3, and they returned pretty much everyone. And so they were one of the teams this last week that went up in my poll. They went up in the composite as well with a big 48-0 win over Lovett. So I wanted to catch up with them and just see kind of what that win meant for them moving forward, and they have big time goals this season. A lot of talk in 4A with your Benedictines, Burke County, but I think Stockbridge has a special team. And last year was so huge because I mentioned the 10-3 finish. Stockbridge has routinely made deep runs. They dominated around like the 2012-2013 seasons, and then this was them getting back into deep into the playoffs. And so if they have another year like that, I think it's huge because people are going to look at the success they have this year, and then you look back at what the program's actually accomplished, and it's the realization that Stockbridge is back. They have so much talent, and they're just a fun team to watch week in and week out. But let's go ahead and start with these composite rankings right here. Oh yeah, one more news. So we got the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame coming up, obviously. That's going to be later this month. And we've actually just updated our game for it. That's going to be October 20th. And we have a game that I am so excited to see. It's going to be Greater Atlanta Christian at Kell. Be a huge region matchup. I believe GAC is going to be off on a bye this week. Kell has a big matchup against Cambridge. Cambridge served them their only region loss last year. And then this year, GAC has already beaten Cambridge 30-3. So a Kell win would all but ensure that that matchup with GAC is going to be for the region title. I cannot wait for it. And anyone that's followed Kell this year, they kind of know what the storyline is. They played Parkview week 1. It was a game that Parkview kind of ran away with it. They had a lot of defensive touchdowns. Kell only held them to one offensive score in the second half. They built a big lead. Kell tried to storm back. They dealt with some injuries within the game too, to Peyton Zachary. And ever since then, they have really looked impressive, and they've done it without Bryce Clavin for a large portion of that run. Kamari Nick stepped up. He's going to be playing safety at the next level. Now with Bryce back, with his athleticism, they look very dangerous. They had 8 different players score touchdowns last week. I think it's a very intriguing matchup with a GAC team that's been rock solid. You add that athleticism and all those different options. I think it's going to be a phenomenal football game. I think it is the best game in the state that week. Also, in regards to of the Hall of Fame. It's fun. Every single person on the board is assigned to one of the inductees. And so it was kind of like a mock draft, or it wasn't a mock, it was for real, but they asked me who did I want to kind of chill with during the Hall of Fame, talk to, and just be in charge of making sure they have everything. And I picked Charles Johnson, just an unbelievable player and talent out of Hawkinsville. And I've been well familiar with him and then what he's done, just watching him play for the Carolina Panthers, the Bulldogs. But what really sold me on him, because there were a lot of great names. You got DJ Shockley, but it's because I was writing his bio and then I sent it to him and I was like, hey, can you check this? And he had one correction, and that was, Craig, I wasn't a 4-sport athlete at Hawkinsville. I was a 5-sport athlete. I actually picked up tennis my senior year, and I was like, this is going to be a fun guy to talk to. He played defensive end, forward on the basketball team. He ran the he was on the relay team for track and field. So you're talking about a defensive lineman with the speed to be on the 4x100. He was also, he played baseball and then picked up tennis his senior year. So a 5-sport athlete getting into the Hall of Fame. And just a couple more things about his bio. Led Hawkinsville to a 15-0 finish, Class A title. He had 16 sacks as a senior, an 83-yard interception return for a touchdown in Hawkinsville's 18-8 win over Lincoln County, who was ranked number 1 in the finals. He earned 2003 Class A Player of the Year, AJC Class A Defensive Player of the Year. He was named one of 4 defensive linemen to the All-Decade team for 2000-2009. He was the number 21 rated prospect in the country when he signed to play at UGA. Played 35 total games with the Bulldogs, 13 starts, had 73 tackles, 14.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles. Following his collegiate career, he was selected in the 3rd round of the 2007 draft by Carolina and spent all 11 years of his career with the team. Finished his pro career with 143 games played, 114 starts, 321 total tackles, 67.5 career sacks. And he was recognized on the 2nd team All-Pro in 2010 and finished with 19 forced fumbles. So that's who I'm going to get to hang out with, and I am very excited about that. What an athlete and just a tremendous career. I'm excited to see him get into the Hall of Fame, and is obviously well-deserved. All right, so let's look at these rankings real quick. Pull them up. Here we go. All right, so in 7A, no changes in the top 5. You still got Colquitt and Walton tied for number 3. Walton obviously had that clutch win over North Cobb last week, but still no shift. You got Buford at number 1, Mill Creek at number 2, all 6-0. They're going to square off this week, a huge matchup that could obviously impact the rankings next week. You got Carrollton holding down number 5 this week, and Newton at number 6. Last week when we did this, Newton was actually 1 spot above Carrollton. I believe Newton was off on the bye. Carrollton improved to 6-1 with a huge win over East Coweta in their region. Juju was phenomenal, passed for 6 touchdowns, 455 yards. Really impressive showing by the best quarterback in his class. Parkview comes in at number 7. They obviously have a showdown looming with Newton coming up in region play. I think that's the same week as our Hall of Fame week, so that'll be a major game. It will probably be picked up either on a webcast or televised. You got Westlake coming in at number 8, Grayson at 9, and then Norcross at number 10 this week. Also receiving votes, you got North Cobb, who dropped to 3-3 after the loss to Walton. They get 2 overall votes. and they're tied with 2 votes apiece with Peachtree Ridge, who's still undefeated at 6-0, and Milton. So a lot of good teams in that top 10. The big matchup obviously is going to be Buford Mill Creek. And then we have another top matchup coming up this Friday night. It's going to be North Paulding at Harrison. I think Harrison, coming off that tough loss, it was a 3-point loss to McEachern. They're going to be motivated, and if they would have won that game against McEachern, which they obviously were in position to, just a tight game, they might have been in these composite rankings, but this is a big opportunity for them nonetheless, and it'll be North Paulding's region opener, and North Paulding's only loss is to Walton. Okay, it looks like Coach Clark might join soon, so if he's ready, we'll just jump straight to that. You see him yet? Awesome. All right, Coach Clark, how's it going? So it gets a little frozen. We'll see if that connection gets better. But yeah, I'll jump to 4A if he's about to come on. But yeah, you have Stockbridge at number. Yeah, I can hear him. Hey, Coach Clark, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. I'm going to kind of move where you guys can hear me. I have pretty poor reception here in the building. So I'm going to step out. You should be able to hear me good, hopefully.
No problem. You can hear him, right, Najee? Yeah. Wait 1 second. All right. Okay, he's walking out of the building right now. So Stockbridge 5-2. They started last year. I think they had 2 early losses, put together, I think, a 9 or 10 game win streak, and then obviously went to the quarterfinals, lost a tight game to Benedictine. They returned a ton of those key pieces, and when we talked to Coach Clark in the offseason, he was just mentioning a couple key guys that have really gone through like physical changes, whether it's their quarterback, who they expected to be able to run the ball a lot more this year, linebackers shedding weight, getting faster, guys on the defensive line adding size, being able to go from defensive end to tackle positions, and really both lines of scrimmage. I think they lost 1 starter to Georgia Southern. Other than that, they were all back. The backfield's phenomenal, so they've got a really experienced team that is back this year. We have Coach Clark?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. So what have you seen just the last few weeks once you guys have gotten into region play, and kind of how you guys have developed throughout this season?
Yes, sir. We had a region, as I mentioned earlier. We had 2 losses. We opened up actually with scrimmage with Lovejoy, and then played Douglas County, which is a really good opponent for us. And then obviously we lost a close one to them, and then we played Colquitt. So we've had a tough schedule. So it actually feels good to get back playing 4A opponents. Both of those opponents, Colquitt being a 7A, Douglas being a 6A school, and even Lovejoy being a 6A school. It feels good to get back playing some schools around the same numbers that we got. So, we playing well right now. We got a lot of guys that are really, playing well for us. And, the good thing so far for us is we've been able to stay injury free, and just we playing pretty good football right now.
Absolutely. And, yeah, you mentioned those 2 opponents. I mean, neither of them have lost since. We know how good Douglas County's been, Colquitt as well. But I guess this is kind of similar to last season. You guys challenged yourself in non-region, and then once you guys got, as you said, into the 4A teams, I mean, you guys have really looked dominant. So what have you just seen over the course of that, just being tested early with whether it was the scrimmage or those 2 matchups, and then just how you guys are handling just your goals that you've set out in region play?
Yes, sir. Well, with our non-region play, my goal was to kind of get us battle tested for region play and also, for the playoffs. So with that, I feel pretty good, even though we had 2 losses with the non-region. I still feel pretty good that, we really, even though you got a loss, we really played hard. I mean, we lost to Douglas by a touchdown. They got a great team. Coach White over there is doing a great job with those guys. And then obviously Coach Calhoun down in Colquitt was doing a great job. So for me, yes, it was a loss on our record, but I'm excited because, we played well. We had a good showing even down in Colquitt. And to kind of get through that, to get our guys just some more experience against those great opponents, as we go into region play, we're pretty much set on it. There's not a whole lot we haven't seen so far with that. As far as our region play, we're just trying to get better at, I tell our guys dominate each play, dominate their position each play at a time, and that's kind of what we focus on. And we also try to focus on things we got to get better at. Obviously we've won, undefeated in the region right now against some good teams, but we still just try to, pick and see what it is we got to get better at and keep growing in those areas.
Mm-hmm. And you've been at Stockbridge, I think this might be year 15 or 16 for you. You were talking about some of the really strong runs you guys have had in the past. Last year, you guys made that deep run. I feel like with Stockbridge, there's so many teams that get attention and have been really successful over recent seasons, but I feel like what you guys are doing now, people are noticing, okay, there's Stockbridge, and then they remember this is a program that has basically been excelling for many years. So just talk about what it's like to just have the Stockbridge program back in this position.
It feels really good to be back and get noticed. Even though that's not kind of what we do it for. But we had a great 8, 9, 10-year run, with our former head coach who I worked for, Coach Whitley. And so just to get back to being able to have opportunity, to have an opportunity to win the region, and make that deep runs, that's what we're used to here at Stockbridge. I was with Coach Witt, the entire time. 10 years he was here, I was with him, and we made a lot of deep runs, and we did a lot of practicing on Thanksgiving. And I told our team that's our goal every year is to be practicing over Thanksgiving break. And it just feels good to get back to that, having that winning culture to where we're competing every game and have an opportunity to win every game. And just getting back to that, it feels pretty good. But we still know that, our goal is to compete state championship. That's the ultimate goal. So just having that balance between being excited about what we're doing, but also we still got work to do. We still got to get better in all areas. I got to get better as a head coach. The coaching staff has got to get better, and we got to get our team better to get the ultimate goal to playing in that state championship. That's the one thing that we haven't done here at Stockbridge. And also, we take it a step further. It's the one thing that we haven't done that a Henry County football team hasn't done is play for or win a state championship. And, so not only we take it from a school standpoint, we also take it a step further with the county and trying to achieve that goal to be the first team to do that here.
Yep, that is certainly the goal. You guys are coming off a big 48-0 win over Lovett. You had success against them last year too. I want to ask you about your quarterback, though, Kobe Tompkins. He's received offers. Last time we talked,
and he not that he was slow before, but it just seems like he's gotten faster. I think with changing his body a little bit and leaning out, it's created an opportunity for him to have a little bit more foot speed and quickness. And so he's doing a good job running the football, and he's also throwing the ball real well. He should be right at 1,000 yards throwing the ball as well. So I'm excited. He always had a high football IQ, always a young man that at the end of the day, he loves football, tough kid, takes hits, and just, kind of what you want at that quarterback position. A tough kid, is smart, good athlete, good football IQ, and just a leader on that field. I'm excited about he's playing good football at the moment.
And real quick, I think last time we talked, did he have a Mercer offer? What's his recruitment kind of looking like real quick?
They're recruiting him heavily. He's on a lot of schools' radar right now. He's got Shorter and a couple other Division II offers right now. So I know Kennesaw State's recruiting him heavily, and so he's on a lot of folks' boards right now. And I believe after they go and do a reeval of how he's playing and the season he's having, he should have several offers at the end of the year or during the course of the year.
Hopefully so. All right, and then let's talk about Jaden Duke Scott, your running back. Last year he missed some time. That allowed you guys to see a bunch of guys step up, realize there was depth in that backfield. He's been back for senior season, and it looks like he's just been tearing it up.
Yeah, he has 20 touchdowns on the year, and again, he's right at that 900 mark rushing, somewhere around that. And he's having a phenomenal year. He got injured last year and was kind of under the radar. He missed 8 games last year and was able to come back, for the playoff run. But so he was kind of under the radar. He is a phenomenal football player, phenomenal young man, and definitely a young man. He's an all-state running back, and just can't say enough about him. His character on and off the field, great academic. Of course, he's committed to go to NC State, but we just decided that he's been able to, because he was hurt his sophomore year, and then he got hurt his junior year. So for us to have him back, for a full season, really showing what he's got as far as a football player and putting up those numbers. So we're excited about having him healthy and playing for a full season this year.
Yep, and then what have you noticed with him? Obviously, you've seen him multiple seasons, but just about his game, senior years, is just the patience, the speed, the physicality. I mean, how complete of a back have you seen him be this year?
Jaden is a complete back. He's patient, has good vision as far as reading the block. But also, he's just a tough kid. Weighs around 210, strong, physically strong in the weight room. So he's tough to bring down. So he also, he runs a 10.800, so he has good speed as well. So really, he's, to me, as far as running, really does it all very well. He can run you over. He can also, make you miss. And then he can take it to the house once he makes you miss. He's a complete back. He has good hands. We're not throwing all out of the backfield enough yet because we've been handing it on. But he's very dangerous when he has the ball. Some of the games that we would get up on opponents, he wouldn't get just an absurd amount of touches. But I think one game he had like 8 touches, and out of the 8 touches, 3-4 touchdowns. So, and then the last game he had 4 touchdowns on about 12 carries. So he is, dangerous when he has the football.
Certainly. And then let's go to the defensive side of the ball. I forgot what you said. The base formation, was it a 4-2-5? But I guess the thought process behind that is you guys have all this great speed, and it's just about making it simple for your defense so they can just play together and use that athleticism.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're base 4-2-5. A lot of coverage, and we try to keep it simple on the defense side of the ball. Kind of use our guys' athleticism so they can make plays, and we try to focus on making sure we get them lined up right. And then we've been really trying to improve on our tackling, and we've been doing a better job of that as we went through the season. So we got some good, long athletic guys on that side of the ball, and most of our guys up front. Or as far as returners, we had to replace a few guys in the secondary. Really done a good job step playing too, and understanding and learning the schemes and doing a great job. We're just stepping up and being first year starters back there on the back end.
Certainly, and you said it last time we talked. You talked about how important the trenches are, how that's still where you win the ball games. You guys have a lot of experience there. We saw that was literally true in the state championships last year with the goal line stand. But, I mean, how confident are you in this group in those key plays, just with the experience they had, the toughness for them to be able to take you guys where you guys want to go?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what helps us. It kind of separates us apart is our O-line and D-line play. I mean, when those guys are playing up, they move guys, on the O-line, and they do a good job of getting up on the second level and blocking and open those holes. I know we got some skill guys, some very talented skill guys, but really, when the O-line's playing well, that's when we're really rolling on offense. And we got all those guys back. We lost one starter last year, but those guys doing a good job. They're stronger, obviously, having a year off. Been in the weight room a year. Excuse me, been in the weight room a year, so they a little stronger in that. So they do a good job of not only just run blocking, but doing a good job blocking, giving Kobe time to throw the ball. And then on the defensive side of the ball, same deal. Guys are back. Most of them are back. And just having that experience, most of these guys were, been starting since the sophomore season. So they got two seasons in before coming in this season. And they're doing a job with the game experience and just, again, playing good competition. So they're battle tested and they're ready to go. They do a good job of not getting, D-line. We want to dominate, reset the line of scrimmage. And those guys do a good job not getting driven off the ball, and then obviously getting off the ball, making plays, and getting to the quarterback. So we're excited with how our O-line and D-line is playing this season.
Yeah, defense has been super impressive. I think you guys had over 100 TFLs last year. At this point, I'm looking at the stats right now. You're already closing in on 80. Produced over 24 sacks. So, I mean, what is it about this year's defense? And just you have a lot of returning guys, but have you seen an improvement just in individual strength, speed from some of these key guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dylan Manuel, he's an interior D lineman. We also play him at a little bit of defensive end as well on the outside. He's having a great year. He just, same deal, weight room, and then he always kind of twitchy, fast, but he moves really well. He's improved on his functional movement, lateral movement in the off season, so he's having a good year. Uses his hands well and very explosive. He's one young man that's having a good year. Cameron Reese, same deal, doing a good job position, leading, one of the leading sacks this year. And he already had about 30. He had 15 his sophomore year, 15 his junior year. So his goal is to get more than that this year. So he's doing a good job, being very consistent. Makai Webb is a young man that was a sophomore last year. He's a junior. He's doing a good job plugging a hole. He plays on the interior. He's doing a good job of demanding a double team and just, clogging up those holes, getting off blocks and making plays as well. And we got Omar Lopez in the middle also. Same deal. He's plugging those gaps and doing a good job making plays also.
Yeah, it looks like it's a deep rotation, and just so many guys have been getting in on the action. Tons of quarterback hurries. Looks like they aren't phased with whatever style the opponent is bringing. You guys are on the bye this week. You guys got just 3 games left on this regular season schedule. Are you going to try to scout any games this week, or what's just the plan this week? How to take?
Yeah, we're going to try to check out a couple of opponents. I think there's one team playing in the region we may try to watch, so we'll definitely get out and enjoy going and watching some good Friday night football.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Clark, thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck the rest of the season. Hope everyone is paying attention and watching you guys. It's going to be a fun finish in 4A. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. And as always, I appreciate you having me on.
You bet. All right. So there goes Coach Clark in Stockbridge. I'm telling you guys, I thought preseason, I'm looking at all the returning guys. I thought, okay, they're like top 3, top 5 for sure. I've had them in the poll every single week, despite the close loss to Douglas County and Colquitt early. I said, just wait. And here's their results before we go to the break. The last 5 games: 54-0 over Doherty, 44-8 against Luella, that opened the region, 41-20 against Hampton. Then it was 69-0 against Mount Zion, and this past week, 48-0 against Lovett. They've got 3 shutouts in the last 5 games, allowing less than 10 points a game, and then lighting it up with 55 points a game. So really dominant. They got Woodland, Stockbridge coming up, Pace Academy, and McDonough. Games that will certainly be exciting, but I got to think that they're going to go in there with a lot of confidence and experience. But let's go ahead. We'll take a quick break and thank our sponsors. We'll be back on the other side.
Finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me, can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands and proper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, welcome back. So we'll return to the composite rankings real quick. We'll just stick with 4A because Stockbridge, we just talked to Coach Clark, and they're an interesting team for sure. All right, so Benedictine remains number 1. They opened the region. They had a nice win over New Hampstead. They were up big. New Hampstead came back. It ended up being a 39-32 or maybe 38-31 victory. Then they had to play Burke County. Region 3 is actually really solid. Burke County, you got Wayne County in there. New Hampstead's looked good, but Benedictine handled business again. They were up 31-7 at one point. Burke County was able to outscore them 24-7 in the fourth quarter, and then they closed the gap, but Benedictine was able to get the win and improve to 7-0. And you got to give credit to Benedictine. They have not lost to a 4A school in 3 years. They're the only 2-time defending champ in the state this season, and it's kind of like Hughes last year. It's like until someone beats them, they're the team. However, if you look beyond Benedictine, there are so many great teams. I think 4A is definitely deeper this year than it was last year when you basically had a collision course with Cedartown and Benedictine. And you also obviously had North Oconee in there and some other schools. However, this year, you got North Oconee at number 2. They are 6-0. They're ranked number 2 in every poll except the Maxwell computer rankings actually have them at number 1. They've been utterly dominant. They played Madison County already in Region 8. Thought that was going to be their biggest challenger. They cruise to victory there. I think they have a big matchup against East Forsyth up next. East Forsyth was undefeated heading into last week, but they lost a 10-3 game to Cherokee Bluff. So North Oconee should handle business, but I think it will also be an opportunity to see how East Forsyth's able to stack up with North Oconee. Their defense has looked great throughout the season, but it's going to be hard to keep pace with them. And North Oconee's just been so rock solid on both sides of the ball. And if you look at last year, we know how good Cedartown was. North Oconee 2 years ago faced off with Cedartown, who basically had the same guys the year before that they did last year, and that was like a 52-point loss. Last year it was a 1-score game, so they got humbled. This is a team that had never made the semifinals until last year, but they've got those pieces returning, and I think they have a major advantage just with that experience. You got Perry at number 3. They're 6-1. Their only loss was to Houston County the first week of the season. Not a bad loss at all. Bainbridge comes in at number 4. They've had some big time battles against 7A teams. They beat Ware County. They're an outstanding program. You got Spalding at number 5. They're 7-0. They're in that same region as Perry, so that will be a top 5 matchup for the region title coming up. A great rivalry, great game. Burke County dropped to number 6 after the loss to Benedictine. I think they're certainly going to be dangerous in the playoffs. Central Carroll is another intriguing team. They come in at number 7. They are 7-0, picked up another big win. They recently beat Cedartown. They're in position to take the Region 7 title and get that number 1 seed. That would be a huge deal. They've got a ton of talent, and really that entire Carrollton area does, but they've been really strong, got some young pieces and a new head coach. All right, Stockbridge, they're at number 8. I have them at number 6 in my poll. 680 does not have them ranked. I'd strongly urge them to reconsider. AJC has them at number 8, GPB at number 10. The Maxwell Computer Rankings have them at number 2, and then Max Preps at number 8. So they are neck and neck with Central Carroll. You got Troop at number 9. Their only loss was a close one to Stars Mill. You got Cairo, I think it's Cairo. The Syrup Makers, they are at number 10. They're 7-1. They're on a 7-game win streak, I believe. They've looked outstanding. Tons of shutouts. One of the best seasons they've had. And then also getting votes, you're going to have Wayne County, Holy Innocents, and Madison County. All right, let's go real quick to 6A. You have a tie this week with 56 total votes. Gainesville at 6-0 and Thomas County Central at 7-0. Gainesville was off on a bye this last week. Thomas County Central cruised to another blowout running clock win over Tift County. They have probably the largest margin of victory in the state this season. I mean, they aren't necessarily playing easy opponents. They just are unbelievable. They were undefeated at this point last year, and same thing, except the margin is even more insane. In fact, let's look at the most improved teams in the state in terms of point differential, because this is pretty much the same schedule. They're up 15 points per game higher than at this point last year, and last year they were undefeated. So yeah, going undefeated is pretty good, but let's just do it by even more than 2 touchdowns than we did last year. They are on a roll. The other big improved team in 6A, Douglas County, plus 24.5 points from last year. And I think that's a result of just having their quarterback, Sire Hardaway, healthy. He missed the midpoint of last season. Had a couple games run away from them, but obviously they're undefeated this season. Newton's up there. Spalding, who we mentioned, undefeated in 4A, 19.7 points improvement. But yeah, so Thomas County Central, 15-point increase. All right, Douglas County is at number 3 in 6A. You got Lee County at number 4. Their only loss was to Class 7A Colquitt County. They're 6-1. We saw them get the big win over Houston County a few weeks ago. You got Hughes at number 5. Their only in-state loss was to Douglas County. They had a nice win over East Paulding last week in region play. You got Houston County at number 6. You got a 2-way tie with Marist and Rome. Both have looked fantastic this season. Rome just absolutely demolishing their region competition. Once again, last year they had the highest margin of victory against their region in the state with, I believe it was 46 points per game. They're at that same pace this year. They've already dominated Alatoona by over 50 points. Last week, Sequoia was the latest victim, and looks like both those teams are poised to get a top seed. All right, let's go to 5A. Coffee returns at number 1 for consecutive weeks. They're 6-0. They are number 1 in the AJC. Max Preps and Maxwell, I have them at number 2 behind Creekside, but I certainly understand why a lot of these polls have them at number 1. Cartersville remains at number 3 in the 5A composite. GPB has Cartersville at number 1. So there are a few teams represented at the top spot across the different polls. I actually moved Cartersville down this last week. I know it's crazy to move them down after a loss, but you got to factor in that it was the second straight week where they haven't necessarily come out strong in the first half. They were down 17-0 to Calhoun. It was a 7-7 game against Cass. They didn't get their first lead until the third quarter. And I just think, they've got tough competition in 5A. You got Jefferson playing outstanding, Ware County, Calhoun, who nearly had that victory against them. And then, so that's the current top 6. And then at number 7 in the composite is Kell. And I gave them a major boost this week. I did. I put them all the way at number 3. And so my 5A poll was Creekside 1, Coffee 2, Kell 3, Jefferson 4, Cartersville 5. Kell, I've seen him in person. That first week against Parkview, what happened in that game? Well, for pretty much the entirety of the game, they made it hell for Parkview's offense. They couldn't get in a rhythm. Ultimately, Parkview, 7A school, tremendous athletes. They broke some big plays. They had a big fumble recovery when Peyton Zachary got hurt on that return, which was like a 50-yard return. You had a blocked punt. You had a lot of miscues. You had the fact that Bryce Clavin wasn't just playing baseball during the regular season, he was doing it during the off season. He missed their scrimmage the week before. You had guys out with internal suspensions, I think, for their scrimmage. That Parkview game was like the first time the team came on the field together in full strength, and Parkview's a top 10 team in 7A. Kell's in 5A. What they've done since, continue to get better, and I think they are very dangerous. I like their defense. They have ball hawks in the secondary. I thought they could have had 4 interceptions in that Parkview game. They're tipping balls, and they can fly around at the linebacker position. And I think they are very motivated this week going into that Cambridge game. That left a very bad taste in their mouth last year. They were cruising. It was a televised game, and from the very start, Kell just looked absolutely horrible. I think they fumbled like the opening kickoff, gave like a huge Cambridge touchdown, and then that game just ran away from them. Really humbled the team. I think this year it's going to be a different story. They're going into it with a lot of momentum. The 5-game win streak, and then their latest 59-0 win with 8 different guys getting involved. And anytime you're having that many, which there is a wealth of talent on that offense, but when they're all getting the ball and they're all contributing, that just breeds a lot of energy. And so I think Kell is, I think they have earned it through the last 5 weeks, but we'll see. And you got GAC right behind them in the composite at number 8. They're undefeated. I mentioned that game's going to be taking place a week from Friday at Kell. Will be one of the biggest games in the state for the region title, potentially. You got Hiram at number 9, Warner Robins at 10, and then tied for 11th is Jones County and Eastside. Jones County had a really impressive win over Ola just 1 week after Ola lost by a 2-point conversion in overtime to Warner Robins. All right, in 3A, this week, Seth is still holding on strong. He is not giving up on Cedar Grove. He still got him at number 1. despite another loss. So it's going to be interesting. Cedar Grove, we've seen them play 7A programs, South Georgia powerhouses, out-of-state games. I don't even know if they played a 3A opponent yet, and so it is hard to know how good they're going to be. But they're 2-5, and they're coming in at number 3 in the composite. I know that they're going to have, do they have one more non-region, or is this it? That's right, because they've played 7 games. So let's see how good they look against Douglas. Douglas is much improved from last year. They got some athletes, and then obviously they got Carver and Sandy Creek. I still think you can consider them a favorite. It's just crazy, like 2-5. Yeah, it is the schedule, but I know that they want to shake some of that off and just get some dominant wins. But yeah, that's just how tough that schedule's been. All right, Calvary Days at number 1 in the composite, 58 total votes. Stevens County comes in at number 2 this week at 7-0. They have obliterated the competition. Obviously nowhere near the schedule Cedar Grove has played, but I mean, they've definitely challenged themselves. The Raven County game, and then they've just been whooping opponents every single week. Mary Persons at number 4. Let's not forget they had the big win over Prince Avenue Christian, serving them their first loss in multiple seasons. Savannah Christian at number 5. They are a matchup nightmare for a lot of these programs. You got Sandy Creek at 6. Undefeated Lumpkin County at 7. Lumpkin County played a really solid Gilmer team last week. It's like, all right, let's see how good this Lumpkin County team is. They destroyed them. It was like a 40-point victory. Lumpkin County is the real deal. You got Morgan County at number 8. Carver Columbus returns to the poll after its big win over Thomasville, knocking Thomasville out. They come in at number 9, and then Bremen, a 6-1 team, at number 10, also receiving votes. Crisp County, Thomasville, and Carver are tied for 12th, and then you got Peach County and Monroe area. So a few undefeated teams left, but at the top of that poll, Calvary Day and Stevens County. Can either of them make a run, and will Cedar Grove be able to come out of its region? That will be fun to watch. All right, in Class 2A, we've got another tie at the top, similar to 6A with Gainesville and Thomas County Central. This time it's Thompson, the defending state champs, and undefeated Toombs County, both receiving 50 votes. All of the human polls have Thompson at number 1, but the computer ratings have them at number 6, and so that weighed them down. And then Toombs County ties them despite neither of the human polls having them in the top 2. AJC has them at 3, GPB 4, Score 3, 684, but the Maxwell and Max Preps have them at 1. So that's how that tie happened. You got Northeast, Appling, and Pierce County rounding out the top 5. Callaway is in at number 6, and I guess that's true. Says their record is 3-1. I know that they had an issue. They had beaten Cedartown, and that game got vacated, but I thought it would have counted as a loss. Anyway, you got Fitzgerald, Rockmart, Athens Academy, and Fellowship Christian also in that 2A poll. Cook also receiving a vote at number 11. In Class A Division 1, Prince Avenue Christian remains number 1. I mentioned their only loss to Mary Persons. You got Swainsboro, Rabun County. Their only loss was to Stevens County. You got Tryon, Elbert County, Commerce, Bleckley County, and Commerce are tied for number 6. And then rounding out the poll, Lamar County, Bryan County, Mount Vernon, and Dublin. I'm trying to think. Did I see Bleckley County? Yeah, Bleckley County is tied at number 6. They had a win over number 11 Dublin this week in the Shamrock Bowl. All right. And Class A Division 2, you got Schley County at number 1, think they are still the highest scoring team in the state. If not the state, definitely in Class A Division II. You got a tie at number 2 with defending state champ Bowden and Manchester, and Greene County, who's undefeated. Also in that poll, Clinch County, Macon County, Jenkins, Early, Telfair, Aquinas, and Lincoln County all receiving votes. So there you have it for the composite this week. Very intriguing with a few of these number ones. I think Coffee, can they win it? 5-8 continues to get deeper and deeper. So what's this other feature they have right here? It looks like the region title odds. Let's just go to some of them that we pointed out that I'll find interesting. All right, in Class 7A. So I won't mention like the heavy favorites. Like currently at this point in 7A, you got Colquitt County a 96.6% favorite. And that's because I think they have a 2-game lead at this point, or maybe just a 1, but that's a heavy favorite. Where Region 2, you got Carrollton 55% odds, Westlake 44. That one's close. Let's look at Region 3. McEachern's now the favorite after their win over Harrison. North Paulding, the defending region champs, 24%. Marietta 15. Harrison just a 3% chance to win the region now, according to that. Region 4, Newton an 82%. Parkview at 13%. Grayson just at 3.3%. Some other close ones. Najwa like this one. In Region 7, Norcross a 51% chance to win the region. North Gwinnett 32%, and undefeated Peachtree Ridge just 15% chance. And then in Region 8, you got Mill Creek is actually projected above Buford, a 60% chance to win the region. Buford just 39.4. So that is very intriguing. Yeah, so those are some good numbers. That's in the latest newsletter. Let's look at 4A. Ooh, Spalding is favored 61% over Perry, 38.8. And then let's see, Stockbridge, that's right, a 98% favorite, one of the highest favorites in the state right now. So that's very interesting. But we will be back tomorrow for Keeping It Real with Najee Wilkins. He'll do his top headlines, tail of the tape, and all the latest news. I'll be back on Friday. Probably going to be bringing on Harrison's head coach to talk about the big matchup. And then be sure to tune in Friday night. It's going to be an interesting battle between North Paulding and Harrison. A really big 7A matchup, huge region game, and definitely the stakes will be high, and I'm excited to see both these teams in person this season. But thanks for joining us. Go to scoreatl.com. We got more stories and rankings up there.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.